We'll try and reconnect that line with Mahima Singh of the Congress, but Nalin Kohli continues to be with us. Nalin Kohli, we've heard the kind of fireworks that have happened on both sides. The Prime Minister has made the stance of the BJP clear today, but there were several leaders of the BJP, including a former Union Minister, Anand Hegde, who had come out and made these statements. Do you think that's perhaps what gave ammunition to the opposition?
No, I don't think so, because that was clarified at that time only. We need to understand the Constitution, and if you'll permit me as an advocate to just bring a few points. As Indian citizens, irrespective whether we are in the BJP, Congress or any other political party, we have certain rights. Those rights also include the freedom of expression and speech. So in this case, Mr. Hegde exercised that expression of freedom of expression and speech. But that was not the party's line. The party made it clear immediately. Now let's come to the Constitution. As you correctly pointed out, about 105 constitutional amendments have taken place. The first one in 1951 even amended Article 19, which is freedom of expression and speech, by when Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was the Prime Minister of India. Reasonable restrictions were brought onto speech. It was not an absolute right. So therefore, does that mean that the Congress party decided to cut down on freedom of speech? So these are arguments that Mr. Rahul Gandhi and others try to manufacture to build a narrative or to build a tagline for maybe the campaign of the day. They are not bound by any facts. Where is the BJP tinkering with that? When a constitutional change happens, it happens because a need is felt for something, like the 73rd Amendment or Panchayati Raj 74th. All of these amendments are brought in by Parliament, which includes all political parties. The problem that today is happening in the country is that Mr. Rahul Gandhi is the anointed leader, selected leader, anointed leader of the Congress party. There is a whole mechanism of script writers perhaps who come out with a statement that this is what you should say. But when he today raised the question of the Constitution being in danger, nobody perhaps advised him that he scored a self-goal. Because the only time the Constitution of India has been under threat was in 1977 and 1975 for 19 months when Shrimati Indira Gandhi, and we do know that late Shrimati Indira Gandhi, Prime Minister of India, how she is related to Mr. Rahul Gandhi. When Shrimati Indira Gandhi imposed emergency, fundamental rights which are guaranteed under Part 3 of the Constitution, all of them were suspended. Every opposition leader was thrown into jail, kept in jail for 19 months. Innocent people went into jail. Atrocities happened. The press was censored. Those were the dark days of democracy. Now when he or the Congress or anyone does go out and say that the Constitution is in danger, so what do they talk about this dark period from 1975 to 77, 19 months? The celebration of constitutional values by the Congress party when it was in power. So it's a classic self-goal in trying to come up with a statement probably written by some marketing person.
Mahima Singh, if you heard what Nalin Kohli was saying, the Congress is no one to lecture the BJP or anyone for that matter as far as upholding Constitution is concerned, because the Congress government was the one that gave India emergency.
Jai Hind. I could hear somewhat because there was a network glitch. When I was reconnected, I heard somewhat. But you see, when you talk about fear-mongering, when the word is uttered, it is the BJP that has much to answer. When the Prime Minister speaks like a tyrant in saying that he's not here to scare anybody and nobody needs to be scared. I heard Mr. Kohli was talking about emergency. So even during the emergency or, before that or after that, can you recount if there is a Prime Minister who would have not done a press conference for 10 years, for so long as their term was? Across democratic countries, can you recount any Prime Minister who's not addressed the press for 10 years, that long a tenure? Any Prime Minister who denies plurality in a democratic country? Any Prime Minister who only talks about ek akela sab par bhari, main, it's all about his ego, and which is why he says no need to be scared. All the BJP needed to do today was to say that our MPs have actually gone wrong in saying that we won't reframe the Constitution. Neither the Prime Minister denied, nor the BJP spokesperson here will deny in clear-cut words.
He did actually. He did at the beginning when your network was lost. He did at the beginning that these leaders have come out and clarified that's not the party line. The BJP is very clear on that.
But But you see what they are doing when they are speaking like that we need 400 plus, 3 MPs in 3 different states at 3 different stages. One actually said that before his ticket was announced, and then it was denied later on. Then Jyoti Mirdha and now Lalu Singh. That is their secret plan, and that is what they are set out to do. Everybody knows that by now, and we have seen how they have amended, spuriously amended the laws in the past. You say that it is the Congress who has affected most of the amendments. That is because we have ruled. That is because we have ruled the country for the longest years so far after the freedom was achieved. But what about the BJP? You see, they suspend the most number of members of parliament. They mute the mics in the parliament. They pass the bills, in a very unscrupulous manner. We are gasping for oxygen during COVID, and there is the BJP bringing a farm laws bill through backdoor.
But why do you say these bills are passed? These bills are passed spuriously or not in means that are meant to be. They are passed in Parliament. Many of the times when these bills are put to vote, unfortunately, the opposition members of Parliament have walked out.
Let me say, because electoral bonds, we have seen the fate electoral bonds has met at the hands of the Supreme Court. It was brought as a money bill. It should have been discussed. Something like an electoral bond, which will have all the stakeholders on the same table, should have been discussed by all the stakeholders, but it wasn't. It was brought by the way of a money bill. Similarly, farm bills. Similarly, the 100th amendment where GST was, implemented in a wrongful manner. So everything that this government does is so secretive.
Sure. So the
they don't
allegation,
want to take opposition on record. They don't want to take opposition in confidence. Whether it is China today, you see, Sonam Wangchuk is protesting in Ladakh, but the government doesn't want to talk about it. So constitution is something, although they won't be able to touch it because the forefathers have had a very deep vision in designing it. But the BJP's plans are very nasty and notorious. The Prime Minister only is set out to rule this country till 2047 by himself. He doesn't believe in democracy. He believes in autocracy. That is what he walks, talks, eats every day.
Sure, these allegations have been made by the Congress and many others in the opposition for numerous occasions now, that democracy is under danger. We've had Rahul Gandhi say this multiple times as well. But Nalin Kohli, the allegation against the BJP is that sure, these bills have been passed and these constitutional amendments have been made because of a stamp of approval from the parliament, but all of these bills were brought in via the back door.